him, and he thoroughly enjoyed many of them before I left the room. Put him in a nice mood. His daughter had bought him a Amazon stick to go into the back of the TV there at the nursing home, and we tried for an hour to try to get that darn thing to work. Username, password. We reset it twice with Amazon, so I don't know if there's something wrong with the stick. But Chuck's daughter, Darlene, 2 hours away herself, so she'll probably have to bring that thing back in. But Chuck likes the old movies, and so he'll be able to watch that through Amazon and Netflix. He didn't get much use out of the iPad. I thought he was going to do it. Chuck these days, kind of in and out, sleeps a lot more than I've seen him sleep in a long time. Just tired, doesn't have the energy, but loves company, likes visits, but he's just not the same Chuck that you remember. According to nurses, he's healthy pulse, healthy, breathing fine, and skin looks good and all that other stuff, but he's just gotten old. And, they say it's not the age, it's the miles. Chuck was a childhood DJ. I mean, more or less started when he was a kid in Elgin, Illinois, and worked himself through his bootstraps, pulled himself through, and he got a big break in Chicago and then in Tampa, Florida, on 970 WFLA, did a big show and started his own radio network. But in the 90s, Hillary Clinton put a stop to his empire and put an 18-year audit on him, and that aged him, took the microphone away from him, more or less, and crushed his spirit. And then his wife died. And his health started failing. But I tell you, stress is a hell of a thing. It can bring somebody down. I tell people, if you can minimize the stress in your life, if you can do something to get that stress down, stress kills. It's a big killer. So whether it's listening to classical music or just enjoying the lake, going fishing, taking a vacation, doing something to clear your mind and bring your blood pressure down, life's stressful, and that did it for him. I've seen it. I worked for him for many years, and I saw the breakdown and his psyche and all of that. And here's a man who dedicated himself with his network and his show to really help America. And his theme in the 90s, even into the early 2000s, was Fix America First. Fix America First. Does that sound familiar? And he's still engaged, still cares to watch his Fox News and reads as much as he can. But he says, we need to write a letter to the president. And I said, well, what are we going to write to Donald Trump? And he said he needs to start acting presidential. That's what he told me yesterday. And I said, that's kind of funny how you say that, because that's what Pat Choate, who was running for vice president with Ross Perot. The tweeting is what upsets people. And I've defended Donald Trump for a long time about the tweets. And I sort of understand the rogueness. But I also try to remember who Donald Trump is. He's a businessman. He is a guy who likes to win, and he doesn't like to lose. And when somebody's falsifying, if somebody is manipulating, if somebody's distorting, somebody makes up false news about him or his family or his White House, he takes it very personal. A lot of people say, well, Trump is very thin-skinned. He just can't take it. He has to lunge back. The basketball players that he brought back, when one of the fathers basically just said it wasn't, more or less, it wasn't a big deal. And Donald Trump said, maybe I should have just left him there. That itself was, come on. I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but it doesn't sound very presidential. But he has a right to say what he wants to say. He's the president of the United States. He's not going to change. Everybody that voted for him needs to realize that Donald Trump's not going to stop being Donald Trump. He he just it's shoot from the hip, and sometimes it just doesn't go over as well. And he's definitely not Obama. There's no comparison. He wasn't smooth. It hit the other two players, and the third player, because it was the dad. It was no fault of the players. It was the father that was outspoken on ESPN, and that offended Donald Trump because the father made it sound like he was ungrateful, that really the efforts of Donald Trump were nothing, and that they really didn't do anything really bad. It was just sunglasses. I'm like, yeah, they weren't just a cheap pair of sunglasses. These were hundreds of dollars. And you were in China. I mean, you get arrested and thrown in jail over here for thievery, but over there being an American citizen? No. You'll get twice, 3 times the amount of time behind bars, and you're not going to have a good time at all. Not a good idea. Donald Trump does something nice, and then you got one that has to, and there's always going to be one. Unfortunately, it's more than one. It's this thinking. It's the resistance. We hate Donald Trump. We can't say anything nice, and anything good he does, we have to find fault. It's negative. You know anybody like that? For the people, we're positive. We're going to keep you on the right trail every time. Listener supported For the People, forthepeopleshow.com. Keith Allen saying all the best. May God bless.